Hey, freedom seekers! Welcome back to Set Yourself Free, the podcast where we share stories, strategies, and mindset shifts to help you break free from the 9 to 5. And most importantly, create a life you're obsessed with. I'm Eugenia, and I'm so excited for this episode because manifestation and redefining how I see myself have been huge turning points in my journey to freedom. If you've ever felt stuck, frustrated, or like you're working hard but not really moving forward, this episode is for you. Because here's the truth: the outer world always follows the inner world, and until we change who we are, nothing on the outside can truly change. Today, I'll be sharing my experience with Peter Sage 5-Day Mastering Manifestation Challenge. The powerful lessons, mindset shifts, and breakthroughs that help me see manifestation in a completely new light. So, grab your 9.5 pH glass of water, your favorite notebook, and let's dive in. Let's set yourself free. Before I talk about manifestation, I want to share the most powerful thing I took away from the challenge. And this was the importance of asking ourselves better questions. Let me share the two most powerful questions you can ask yourself to live the life you were born to live. Write this down. Number one, who do I need to become? Not what you need to go do, not what do you need to learn, not where you can find X, but ask yourself, who do you need to become? This puts you in alpha waves, which are the ones you want to be in, as opposed to beta, which are the ones that you're usually in. And they keep you in poverty, a slave, and in outer world focus. So find ways to train yourself to be more in alpha waves whenever you can. Okay, question number two, and this one is a very important one. What vehicle feels right? This means what vehicle speaks to your soul, not what's most comfortable, not what you can afford. That keeps you trapped in fear and scarcity. Not what sounds best, because nowadays good marketing can sell you anything really. Your brain can be controlled, but your heart and what feels right can't. So answer yourself this question. The funniest thing for me is that this is exactly what I felt when I found network marketing with Enagic. So I invite you to watch my free web class and see if you feel the same. You can watch it at www.discoverwithEugenia.com. And remember, the two questions above, for me, it was the vehicle that felt 100% right, even if I couldn't explain why. Now, hearing these two questions so much later, everything makes so much sense. Okay, so make sure you reflect on the two questions above. And now, let's dive right into the truth about manifestation: the law of attraction versus the law of creation. One of the most eye opening things Peter taught during the challenge is that manifestation isn't about the law of attraction. Wait, what? That's what I thought. I'm like, I've been thinking this for so long. But it is all about the law of creation. Most people focus on attracting things, imagining that what they want and hoping it shows up. But according to Peter, that approach keeps you in a reactive mindset, waiting for the universe to deliver. On the other hand, the law of creation is about being the creator of your reality. It starts with your identity, your beliefs, and your inner state. When you truly embody who you want to become, your outer world naturally aligns. It's a shift from I hope this happens in attraction to I am this, I create this, I live this in creation mode. Can you feel how different the energy is? And that's exactly why identity is the first and most important step in manifestation. Let that sink in for a moment. So, the first question Peter challenges us to ask is, what am I most certain about? And could that belief be wrong? That hit me hard because often the beliefs we're most attached to are the ones keeping us stuck. And something else I loved was the distinction between chasing success versus living in fulfillment. Success will feed your ego, fulfillment will feed your soul. One will make you happy, the other one won't long term. Okay, if this made sense, let's talk about the levels of consciousness. I really found this part super interesting. So basically, what he shared was that we have four levels of consciousness. Number one is where a lot of people tend to fall into, and that's to me, where life is happening to you. You're a victim of your circumstances. And I'm sure you can relate because we've all been there sometimes. What's important is just not to live there. Then we have by me, which I can really relate to this one because it's the achiever mode where you're hustling, trying to control everything, wanting to achieve. And I mean, it's better than to me, but it's not ideal either. And then he brings this third one, which is called through me. And this is the flow state where you trust, you surrender, you co create with life, and things happen effortlessly. Don't you think this sounds like a much better state to be in? And then finally, we do have number four, which would be Asmi. That is the ultimate state of oneness and peace. It's non physical. That would be the Dalai Lama, for example. So we will focus more on through me, which is what I'm working towards now as my goal. So our goal in the end is not to hustle harder, it's to rise into through me, where things flow, where you trust life's timing, and where joy becomes your normal state. Doesn't that sound great? That's where the outer world is a projection of your inner world, so you get to decide what your inner world looks like. Or as Peter says, frequency beats chemistry every time. Whatever you feel certain about, whatever you believe in your bones, that's what you attract. So reflect. What do you identify yourself with? Are you someone who says, I'm always struggling? Or are you someone who says, I'm abundant, I attract opportunities, I'm magnetic to good things? That's where manifestation begins. I love the quote: the enthusiastic and engaged observer influences and creates the observed. How we show up in the world is everything, really. Okay, so having talked about the levels of consciousness, we'll refer to them more, but honestly, this was one of my biggest learnings. We will talk now about what you've been waiting for, which is the five big mistakes and the lessons behind them, okay, that we've been doing when we talk about manifestation. And I'll even throw a bonus one at the end. So, mistake number one: if I change my behavior, I change my outcome. Sounds right, doesn't it? But it is not. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make because change doesn't come from behavior, it comes from identity. I'll say it again: change doesn't come from behavior, it comes from identity. If your sense of self stays the same, nothing really shifts. The outer world is always a reflection of your inner world. But once you shift your identity, decisions become easy, action becomes natural. I'll give you an example. If you are a healthy person, you don't need motivation to eat well, drink enough good quality water, or be active. You just do it because it is who you are. Who you believe yourself to be shapes your actions and outcomes. And as you know, shift the inner world and the outer world will follow. Okay, let's move to mistake number two. I love this one. If I learn enough, I'll earn enough. This one hit home for me because I love learning. But Peter said something that really stuck. There's a big difference between not knowing enough and not knowing at all. We often delay action because we want more certainty. We want to feel ready. But the truth is, certainty doesn't come before action, it comes after. I'll repeat this: certainty doesn't come before action, it comes after. Learning is valuable, but you must act on what you know. Information without implementation, in the end, is just entertainment. We have to stop chasing the external validation that we use to cover an internal gap. You're always going to be a student. And once you understand that, the only thing you need to know is you now need to take the next step. He also said something I love, which is intention plus attention equals manifestation. So also focus less on what to do and focus more on who do you want to become. Or who do you have to become to go from where you are to where you want to go? And the key to that is surrender. Let go of the need to control. Focus on small wins, and the momentum will create confidence. Also, if there are any achievers out there, remember stress is the word achievers use to refer to fear. Does that sound familiar? It did sound familiar to me. Let me share a fun insight. When you're in that flow or the through me state that I mentioned, you feel great now. Okay? This is such an important thing to feel great now. But when you're in achiever, you say, I will feel great when. And then you just attach a goal to that. Like, I will feel great when I make 5K every month from my business. I mean, it does sound great, but it's always something you're chasing. And on the other hand, we do have the victim mode, which is you will feel great if something happens. So it's one layer even under the achiever one. An example would be if the sun shines tomorrow, I'll feel great. So remember this lesson and feel great now. Also, add regardless. So, not feel great now unless someone is bothering me. No, it has to be feel great now regardless. And remember, the enemy of great is not bad, it's actually good. Because if your life is good right now and you're comfortable, you're not motivated to change. Okay, let's go to mistake number 3, confusing opinion with advice. This one's huge. Opinions are everywhere social media, family, friends, but they are just reflections of other people's limitations. Advice, on the other hand, comes from experience. If you want to learn about jewels, you'll talk to a jeweler. If you want to build a business, you'll learn from a business owner, someone who can help you avoid mistakes or navigate them better. What matters most is not what you learn, it's who you learn it from. That will make the real difference. As Peter also said, transformation doesn't happen when you learn new information. It happens when you change who you believe you are. And that is the key. That's why when you feel fear or resistance, it's not failure, it's just your identity catching up. He even said, your bank account is an old photograph, a reflection of your past actions and beliefs. So if you change that right now, you start planting the seeds for the picture you want to see in the future, that will reflect. And consistency is key for this. So the past of your decisions or your current bank account doesn't define at all how your future one will be. Remember that. Okay, mistake number 4, focusing on what you can't control. I mean, don't we love that? To focus on what others think about us, what we want others to be like. And this one actually ties beautifully to money and abundance. We're only born with two fears, really falling and loud noises. Everything else is learned, which the good news is it means it also can be unlearned. Stop caring about external validation. He calls it goop, which is the good opinion of others. Stop being programmed by the world around you. Start producing and starring in your own movie. Because when you realize most people you're trying to impress are extras in your story anyway, why would you care so much about them? True wealth isn't just money, it's purpose, health, relationships, and time. Basically, money is what's meant to support those areas, not replace them. Hope this is landing with you. And of course, feel free to listen to it a few more times because it's very valuable lessons we're getting here. Let's move to mistake number 5, failing to act on what you know is right. This final one is powerful. Knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing. Wait, what? But it's so true. If you know something but you're not doing anything about it, it doesn't matter if you know it, right? We all have moments when we know what's right but don't act on it. Fear, overthinking, perfectionism, they hold us back. But as Peter said, the first thing life will do when you're meant to grow is fire you from where you're right now. Or what's not aligned, whether that's a job, I can really relate to this one, a belief, or a comfort zone. And one of my favorite takeaways from the challenge: don't get lost chasing limiting beliefs. Just move forward, and you'll discover and dissolve them naturally as you take action. That's a very big one. Because sometimes we just want to go on a wild chase and we use it as an excuse to really not move forward. Oh, I need to uncover all my limiting beliefs before I can move forward. Well, that's not true, and now you know. So you cannot use it anymore. And the bonus mistake, as I promised, thinking positive change will happen without positive action. Well, it won't, okay? It will take some more work and commitment to outgrow fear, or as he calls it, unprocessed fear. Today, you get to decide how committed you are to achieving that outcome. You also get to decide where you live. Is that through me? And where you visit, is that by me? As I said, it's okay to sometimes visit the other states, but what's most important is in what state of consciousness you usually live in. And I hope that's through me. I hope you're resonating with this and getting as many aha moments as I did. So far, we've talked about the law of attraction or law of creation, the four levels of consciousness, and the six biggest mistakes when we talk about manifestation. Now, let's talk about the three puzzle pieces for creating a life of abundance. Number one, work on removing the blocks and counter intentions to money. So, basically, with money, it's super important to shift your energy and belief. You deserve wealth, so expect it and act like it. What financial self image do you currently have? You have to learn how to vibrate at an abundant frequency. And it all goes back to identity. In my case, now that I'm an entrepreneur, Peter said something very powerful and relatable to me. He said he would never go back to being an employee. Even if all his business failed, he would build a new one. And that's because he considers himself unemployable. How cool is that? When I started my business journey, I kept thinking, if this fails, I can always go back to a job. It was my safety blanket and my way to not go all in with my energy. However, now I know I will never go back to a job. My identity has shifted. I burned all my boats once and for all. Let's do a mini exercise together so you can start reflecting too. I want you to ask yourself, what is the most limiting belief you have about money? This probably comes from childhood. Maybe it's money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe it's you have to work hard to make money. Or maybe it is that you don't deserve to sit at the money table. Whatever it is, write it down. Then ask yourself, what would happen in 12 months if you eliminated just that belief? Abundance would come to you. Would you achieve your financial goals? Make 1 million a year? Whatever that is, also write it down. Okay, let's talk about puzzle piece number two, and that is have a relationship with money that is based on non physical, not the physical. In the end, money is just a representation, it's a concept, and value is a perception. So, money represents perceived value. Let me say this again: money represents perceived value. And number three, understanding how to use debt. This one was a very new one for me. In my experience, I thought debt was always bad, so I stayed out of it. This was the way I was brought up and conditioned. However, I recently learned there are two types of debt: constructive, which is adding value to your existing assets, purchasing something that will allow you to start a business or bring you more money, so investing in something that will increase in value over time. And this one is actually good to have it because basically you're using other people money to make more money. On the other hand, destructive debt doesn't add value to your net worth, costs more over time than it is worth. And this is the debt that most people are in, and you don't want it because these things will depreciate over time and you will end up in a worse situation. Plus, the stress of paying it back with usually not knowing even how to do that. So, your priority now must be shifting your relationship with money. And remember, wealth, abundance, and money are plentiful. We usually have this scarcity mindset that doesn't help us at all. So keep this in mind. And I love this, so I'll repeat it twice. Money is an unlimited renewable resource. Money is an unlimited renewable resource. Repeat this as many times as you need until you finally understand it, and embody it. And he also gave us a few practical advice or tips, and I'm going to share them with you because I love them. Number one was always carry cash in big bills, so $100 or pound or euro note to feel abundant. You don't even need to pay anything with it, it's just to carry it around. Lately, I was just with my phone. I pay everything with my phone, but I bought a wallet and put in €100 bill, and it just changes so much how I feel. So I really encourage you to do that. Number two is using a 100 note also as a bookmark in your wealth books. Like imagine how much money you're gonna be like feeling like you have when you're using big bills to put in places like this. I really recommend you try this too. And a very important one, and I see a lot of entrepreneurs not doing this, is pay yourself first, always. Even if it's symbolic, even if it's just £5, €5, $5, because if you do not value yourself, no one else will. And finally, surround yourself with abundance. And yes, we talked about the notes, but let's talk about also what you read, the books, what you watch, the people you surround yourself with, and just talk about money. Because if you want to be rich, you'll have to talk about what you want. In the end, environment beats willpower over time, so don't let it. And he also recommended a few more books. Let me share them with you. Think and Grow Rich. I've actually read it twice, but he did mention it's been a bit watered down over the years, and the deeper version is The Law of Success in 16 Lessons by Napoleon Hill, which I've just added to my reading list, and that's the one I would recommend reading rather than Think and Grow Rich, as it's just a shorter version missing a lot of important details. Other ones would be The Richest Man in Babylon, Happy Pocket Full of Money, or How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever. I will let you know as soon as I read them. And please, if you do read them or you've read them already, send me a message. I would love to know your thoughts. Okay, enough with books. You know I love books. But let's talk about something else that I find really important because sometimes we talk about a lot of things, but what are the tools? What can you start doing right now to strengthen this manifestation practice? And I'm going to share five things Peter shared with me in that training. Number one, the screen test. Basically, you can picture yourself as a movie and that's your life, right? Like you have your own movie of your life and you choose a scene that you want to manifest. What you have to do is act it out for the directors, like you're celebrating, jumping, screaming, like whatever you would do and you've celebrated that you've accomplished what you wanted. What you're here training is your body's chemistry to believe before it sees, bypassing your logical mind and its doubts. So go try it. Pause this and celebrate that you've accomplished that thing that you've been wanting for so long. And do it in a convincible way because the directors need to believe it. Okay, that's one of them. Number two, remembering your future. Instead of visualizing your goals, start remembering them as if they've already happened. When your mind sees your dream as a memory, it removes all the stress that comes with wanting to accomplish, not being sure if it will be accomplished, and the alignment of the energy of it's done. It makes such a big shift. So please try it, and I would love to know how it feels. Okay, number three is the three-phase goal setting. Easy. Phase number one, your vision, the big inspiring why. And as many of you would have heard before, have a why that makes you cry. Phase number two, the definite chief aim. A 1 to 3 year goal that excites and stretches you. And it is important that it's maximum 3 years away because our brain cannot understand 10, 20, 30 years from now. On phase three, the next logical step. One thing you can do today that will move you closer to that definitive chief aim. Remember, your actions express your priorities. Number four, the quantum pathway. Stop living by me, forcing things, and start living through me. Like a river flowing around obstacles, your path will unfold when you surrender the how. And here the great tip is hiring a chief how officer. That's internally inside of you someone who looks after the how. So you don't need to worry. You just need to trust them and stay open. You are constantly amazed but never surprised. Give it a try. It will really work wonders. And number five, the journal of positive confirmation. We've talked a lot about journaling, and I'm sure you've heard a lot about it, but this would be a starting a small journal called Positive Confirmations, and everything that is aligning for you, big or small, write it down. I mean, if something happens one time, it's a coincidence, but when it's happening two, three, or more times, it's a pattern. It's becoming proof for your logical mind that manifestation works, and you want to write that down because if not, with time, you forget. Okay. Hope these tools are useful. I really encourage you to try them, and then you can pick which one works best for you, right? It doesn't mean you have to be doing all of them all the time. If you want more details about them, please do send me a message. But I would love to know if you try one, which one you tried, and why did you love it? Okay, we're coming now to the final lesson. And this is a really powerful one, the three steps to transformation. Let me share these ones with you. Number one, it's a bit controversial, but follow the three of them and you'll understand why. Get mad at your situation. You need enough emotional thrust to escape the gravity of mediocrity. Declare, I'm done settling for less than I deserve. And getting mad is super, super powerful if you then follow step two. Getting mad for the sake of getting mad won't take you anywhere. But it's just that I'm done moment with whatever situation you have right now. Like you really know this is changing right now. And then you transmute that energy into a positive force. So basically, you convert that anger energy into determination to change the situation. When you're determined to change your life, then is when you become unstoppable. So remember, you get mad at your situation, but then you transmute that energy into a positive force. It's key that you do both, okay? Not just the first one. And finally, when you've done number two, you go into number three, which is focusing that energy on one clear goal. I mean, I know all of you achievers out there. We have lots of goals, so we always get stressed when we only have to focus on one. But don't scatter your focus. Pick one, the one that lights you up the most. Achieve it and then move on to the next one. Okay? Doesn't mean you cannot achieve them all. It's just you need to do them one by one. And each win will build your identity. Okay, those are the three steps for transformation. Really recommend you try them because it will make a big difference. And remember, some of the most important things I shared here. Number one, feel great now. Okay? This is super important. Now. Not if, not when, but now, regardless. Let go of the how. That's why you have your chief how officer. Also, let go of the desire need because you already have everything you need. And once you start realizing you already have it, then you can let go of the need of having it. And also trust that it's this or something even better that is coming for you. You deserve the seat at the money table. So keep sitting there, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when you doubt if you belong, because the more you show up, the more natural it becomes. You will start to feel like you belong. You will grow into that next version of yourself. Here's the truth, freedom seekers. If you don't take action, you stay stuck in your old paradigm, you, your comfort zone, your familiarity zone. You'll keep living on repeat. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. It's as simple as that. You'll stay trapped in that hamster wheel of mediocrity. Not because you're not capable, but because you're scared of uncertainty. What if it goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose everything? What if I end up worse than I was before? But here's the question that matters most: what if it goes right? Or what if you shine brighter than you've ever imagined? What if everything you've been asking for is waiting just outside that comfort zone? You can either be the example or the warning, and you get to choose that. The example of what's possible when you take aligned action and trust yourself, or the warning of what happens when you let fear call the shots. Remember, every time you choose courage over comfort, you're setting yourself free. If this episode inspired you, hit subscribe so you never miss a new one. Share it with a friend who's ready to step into their power and start manifesting their dream life. You've got this, freedom seeker. Let's turn ambition into freedom. And remember, only you can set yourself free. See you next Tuesday.